As a reminder, please. Great. As a reminder, please mute yourself when you enter unless you are appearing or testifying before the board. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing for the City of Boston. Today is Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. With us today are Executive Director Kathleen Joyce and Director of Operations Rebecca Fu. We will call the first item on the agenda. Spin Boston LLC, doing business as Spin, located at 30 Melcher Street, requesting to maintain and operate the live entertainment categories of 14 ping pong tables until the closing hour of 1 a.m. Manager of record, Michael Martin. Who was present on behalf of the applicant?
Good afternoon, everyone. Andrew Upton for the applicant. With me are Manager of Record Mike Martin, CEO of the company Mike McKinley, and founder of the company Andrew Gordon.
Great. Please go ahead, Attorney Upton.
All right, thank you very much. I'll just give a brief recap of the procedural history for this application, and then I'd like to turn it over to Andrew Gordon just to refresh your recollection about the concept itself. Spin is an upscale ping pong themed restaurant. We met with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, DND, and Councilor Flynn on December 13th of 2018 to begin this process, where we described the ping pong themed restaurant and gained their support. We then went to the Fort Point Neighborhood Association on January 29th of 2019. We made the same presentation about the ping pong themed restaurant. We had some subsequent negotiations with the FP&A about traffic and some other issues. We reached a resolution of their concerns. We got a letter of support from them. And then we went before the licensing board on January 29th, 2020, and were approved for a liquor license. Since that time, we've done the build out, we've suffered through COVID, we've timely renewed, and now we are open and serving great food and drinks and having people play ping pong with one-day licenses. So now we are here for the final ping pong licenses. So that is how we got here. I'd like to turn it over to Andrew just to give you a little overview of what's going on over there, and then we're glad to take any questions you might have. Andrew Gordon.
I'll unmute. Yeah, I'm Andrew Gordon. I'm one of the founders of Spin. The concept was started in 2009. We've been operating a very high-end, elevated ping pong themed restaurant and bar. At this point, Boston is the 8th unit. It's absolutely gorgeous. We spent over $6 million to build this facility at 30 Melcher Street in the Seaport District, and we couldn't be more excited about that. The concept is simple. It's people getting together in an elevated, safe setting with their friends, business colleagues, family, to play ping pong and have people pick up ping pong balls for them, which we do, and enjoy great food and beverage. In many of our cities, we're actually considered a cultural amenity at this point because so many people enjoy the place as a place to get together. We are not a sports bar. We are not a rowdy bar. We are not a nightclub, and we are certainly not a place to play beer pong. Beer pong is absolutely strictly forbidden, 100% forbidden. So we are a safe, beautiful spot, and we will always be that way. Like I said, we have 8 units around the country. In operations over 11 years, we've had 0 violations, 0. We take this very seriously. One last point I would make is that we operate 14, we will have 14 ping pong tables at this venue. Across the country, our 8 units have nearly 150 to 160 ping pong tables. Once a year, we give them all away to public schools. Okay, and so we in Boston, it will be no exception. We give them away once a year. We refresh our inventory of tables so they're brand new in the club, and then we give the tables away to public schools. In New York City, where we started this, we've given away over 11 years. We've given away over 200 ping pong tables. And ping pong is now actually a varsity sport in the New York City public school system. It never even existed on anybody's radar screen before. So we're happy that we're able to give back and to be part of our communities. We really do care about this. Ping pong is what we really are delivering, like I said, in a very elevated way. We've been operating this club on a temporary entertainment license since October 6th. It's been going great under the leadership of Mike Martin, our manager, our general manager, and we've had 0 complaints so far. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Can you, for my own understanding, how many seats are around the ping pong area? Is that area, did look at some of the pictures, is that completely separated from the restaurant area? Or is it a mix? Can you eat and drink right around the ping pong tables?
Yeah, there are a lot of places to sit. There's places to sit around the ping pong table so that people can do that together. And there are also places to sit separately from the ping pong. It's a pretty big venue. It's 12,500 square feet. I'm not sure that answers your question.
No, and as far as reserving a ping pong table, do you do it by a certain number of hours? Do you do your reservations done online? Do you take waiting lists and stuff?
Yeah, it's really all of the above. You can, if you have a party of 10 or more people, you can email us or call us in advance and book that table for 2 or 3 hours. If you wanted to just play for an hour, you could go online and book that online, or call us and reserve it that way too. Or you could just come in and wait. If there's a waiting list, you could just walk in the front door. It's open to the public. There's no restrictions.
Okay. Now, are there, like, if you were having a special event, I don't even know, in the ping pong world, if you had like a expert, famous ping pong player come, do you trying to get at whether or not you have any cover charges?
No, there are no cover charges ever.
Okay.
Anybody can come in. We don't sell tickets to see events. So no.
Okay. And then at closing, the place closes at 1 o'clock. You've been open for a couple of months now. Have there been problems dealing with crowds outside or dispersing the crowds?
I see Mike Martin shaking his head no, but no, we've had no problems. It's been, and we've had, some large gatherings and smaller groups, and it's really not been a problem at all. We have a big area outside on Melcher Street, and it's easy to move away from the space.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn to Rebecca Fu to see if there are any questions I missed for us to consider.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now calling the next item on the agenda, South of Hicksbridge LLC, doing business as Alcove, located at 50 Lovejoy Wharf, requesting to maintain and operate non-live entertainment consisting of audio devices and speakers on the outdoor patio until 2 a.m. Manager of record Thomas Schlesinger Guidelli, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. Ryan Gosda from McDermott, Quilty, Miller on behalf of the applicant. Also on the call, I believe his name is showing up as the warden, but that's Tom Schlesinger Guidelli, who is the manager of record and part owner of the restaurant Alcove at 50 Lovejoy Wharf. What we're seeking is to amend the face of the existing non-live entertainment license to allow Bluetooth speakers on the existing outdoor patio just for ambient background music and ambient sound while patrons are outside dining. Tom can correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe these speakers actually have been there, and this has been something we've been seeking to do for a while. And we've received no complaints regarding, these speakers that had been there since the restaurant opened, I believe over, 2 years ago at this point. So this is really just an administrative fix to update the license to make sure everything is current and correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, could you tell me what is the capacity outside?
It's about 80 people.
80, okay. And how many speakers did you say you have outside?
It's 4.
Rebecca, do you have any questions?
Just what are the hours of the entertainment outside and days, 7 days?
7 days, and I think the outdoor license has, well, we're applying for 2 a.m., but I think we have to be off the patio by 11 or by 11:30 already anyways. I think we were just trying to put that in line with what the rest of the license hours were.
And do you have any abutters in this area?
So we're in our luxury condo building, and we have one retail tenant adjacent to us, which is Row House, a boutique rowing studio, and then further down the wharf is Night Shift Brewing, which I believe also has outdoor speakers on the wharf.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Madam Chair, and members of the board, this is John Armano from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. As the applicant stated, they're looking for no live music, ambient noise in the background for this area. And as such, for their application there, we'd like to go on record in support of the project, or in support of the license.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Danny, I think you actually have Louise Thomas has her hand raised.
Oh, here we go. Let me ask you to unmute.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi. I don't know if you realize that you're in the West End and nobody has met with the West End Civic Association on this matter. I know tradition has been if you don't come to the West End, then it's postponed until you do come to see us. Have you had, and also my question is, have you talked to the residents?
Yeah, we've had, sorry, I'm not, we've had extensive conversation with the residents, and I'm happy to supply written testimony that would support such amendment.
I can also state that I know that we did meet with West End when we originally opened the restaurant years ago, and the non-live license was discussed when that, when we went through the original process. This is just the update, if you will, just to put the ambient background speakers on the patio. So the same forms of entertainment, if you will, were discussed with West End, but I don't believe we've reached out to West End with regard to this specific amendment. But as Tom had stated, we have reached out to the abutters in the direct area and discussed this with the residents around the restaurant.
Okay, what happens though down the line if it doesn't become ambient music, ambient at 2 a.m.?
They would be in violation of their license, and we would
Okay.
be able to bring them in for a violation hearing. It will be written on the face of their license, what they are allowed to have, and that would be background music and 4 speakers.
Okay, but I would like to remind you that you are in the West End, and it would have been nice if you came to see us regarding this here. We actually heard about it through one of my friends in the North End who kind of keeps me informed, about things that are going on. And
course,
he
I'm happy to
realized it
come.
was in the West End.
I'm happy to come meet with you whenever you'd like.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. John, can you send the information to Suzanne?
Absolutely, Louise.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? The board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Now calling the, mute everybody. Now calling the final item on the agenda, 222 Friends, Inc., doing business as 222, located at 4 Liberty Square, requesting to maintain and operate live entertainment categories consisting of disc jockey, dancing by patrons, instrumental vocal music up to 4 performers each until 2 a.m., 7 days a week, to the existing non-live entertainment license. Manager on record, Anthony DePinto, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
Anthony DePinto. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay, please go ahead.
So, yep, So we're an authentic Southern cuisine restaurant, catering to, lunchtime, the local businesses in the neighborhood, doing corporate events, private parties. We are open to the public. And then after work, also, similar scenario, there are residences, but they're down the corner and around the corner on Broad Street. There's nothing directly next to us or across the street from us.
That's not true, actually.
Okay.
There's-
We'll
We're
get to
the
you,
owners
sir.
right next door to you.
Sir, we'll get
We
to you.
have residential upstairs.
We'll take
I
testimony
did not
later,
even
sir.
realize that. I sincerely apologize.
No worries.
I did not realize that. I thought it was all offices down the street.
Okay, we're gonna take the testimony in order. Appreciate it. It's hard to follow when people are talking over each other. I have my own set of questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so just so you understand our concept and what we're trying to do, we
Mhm.
would like to do like after work. We already have applications in with Berkeley to bring in a two-piece jazz band or to bring in a pianist with a singer. And then with regards to dancing, I cannot stress this enough. There is no dance floor. Okay, it's just sometimes patrons will dance at their table and we didn't want to be in violation, whether it be their dining table or their lounge table or whatnot. So we just didn't want to be in violation. And then with corporate events and even on the weekends, we are doing a DJ for Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays through football. But to prove that we are not a club, I cannot stress this enough. We're actually closing our hours of operation at 1, and we're bringing in our DJ from 7 to 12. So we're not 12 to 2. We have 2 a.m. liquor and the capabilities to stay open, but we're closing early on purpose. We are a restaurant and a lounge, and we do private corporate events.
Okay.
So that is what we've built. That's what we've created. We're working with the Phantom Gourmet to showcase our food. We're, on social media, we're promoting we have a private function room downstairs, holds 40 people. So that's our marketing strategy.
Okay.
And I'll take any questions, please.
Okay, you brought up a very important, something that's very important to me as executive director when it comes to dance floors
Mhm.
and dancing by patrons. And I'm taking a really hard look at this across the city. You do not have a dance floor, and if your patrons do stand up and sway and dance to their tables, what do you do?
Well, I mean, we try to make sure that they're protected. We have security, on site when we're doing things nightly.
Well, what I'm trying to
like
get
after
at
work.
is you have a responsibility to tell them to sit down and not
Yes,
have dance music playing.
yes. So we're
Okay, and we're doing this across the city. You will be written up
sure,
and in violation of your entire license if people are
Sure.
dancing.
sure, understood. No, the one place, and to actually stress this even more, the one place where if you looked at it, you said this is where they would congregate to dance, we have a dining table there blocking the area.
So jazz groups and jazz trios,
Yeah.
I've never known people to sort of get up and dance to jazz groups and stuff, but perhaps they do. Your letter of support, we have a letter of support for Liberty Square.
From the Waterfront Association, yes.
Yeah, that specifically says that they support televisions, small jazz groups, no promoters.
We're
And
not
it
doing promoters.
Actually does not say DJs at all. So did you discuss having DJs?
Yes, we told them the exact same thing that we told you guys,
Okay.
100%. And again, we stressed there is no dance floor. We're not supporting that. We're not promoting it. We do not use outside promotions company. Everything is internal. We're trying to target, again, corporate events after work. If there's a Bruins game, and they're in the playoffs, that's kind of the later we will go because they tend to go later. But we close at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have 2 a.m. liquor. We're closing at 1 o'clock.
Okay. And on any given night at into the later hours when it's more entertainment than it is dinner, what is your staffing model like?
Meaning for security or
Yeah.
for all in?
For security, I'm like, how do you control the noise and how do you control crowds and rowdiness?
Sure. So we're only open 3 weeks. So believe it or not, we're still building our business. And we've seen considerable growth after work. And even we keep our kitchen open late. People will come in to eat before they go out to some of the local clubs.
Mhm.
So we have security at the door, because at 10 o'clock, we're 21 plus. We're a family restaurant up until 10. 10 o'clock, we're 21 plus. Security at the door, checking IDs. And then we have 2 floating on the main floor. And then 1 downstairs watching the private room and the men's and ladies room.
Okay. Could you submit your security plan and operations plan to the
Of
board for review?
Of course, absolutely.
I am done with my questions at this moment, but I reserve my right for other questions.
Sure.
Danny, you may go on to the public.
Great. Are there any individuals who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is John Romano from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. In line with the Wharf District Council, we're here to support for large TVs, small jazz groups, and no promoters of late night entertainment in the venue. Thank you all so much. And they could go on record in support.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes, actually, I would. My name is Michael Kaplanides. I'm a part owner of the building right next door to you, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
And we've been around since, I think we purchased the building back in 1994. So we've seen a lot of transition, good and bad, in the area.
Sure.
Our main concern, we have residential upstairs. So actually, not only our building, but the building where the Starbucks is located, that's all residential. You know, the transformation of Water Street, Broad Street has changed throughout the years.
Sure.
And it's more residential now. And our concern, and I can speak because I used to live upstairs. Late at night, the wall, our common wall, that vibrates. The loud music, that vibrates throughout the whole building. So we have, residential upstairs and people can't sleep. And music is loud till about 1, 2 in the morning. So that's a big concern of mine. You know, one thing that you might consider doing is either, insulating, soundproofing the walls, or the live jazz music can be on the Liberty side where the windows are. Where 4 Liberty Square is on the end of Water Street.
Yep.
Because I can assure you, we've seen a lot down there, from keeping alleys clean. For example, the alley behind our buildings, that's not lit up at this point. And we've seen stuff back there where, I found needles, for example. We see people walking up the fire escapes. I've seen gunfights in front of Water Street after the close of Vanderbilt, where I call the police because I'm a CPA. I'm there working late at nights during tax season. So I've called police numerous times on fights in front of the building. People are going in, actually in front of our building, people are going to the bathroom in the front door. And those things, we try to be neighborly and we will work with you as long as you're willing to work with us.
Absolutely.
To isolate and eliminate some of this stuff. Because when somebody's paying top rent to live in the city, they don't want to have these problems. If I want to go to bed at 11, 12 at night, I should be able to and be safe about it.
Sure.
That's our main concern down there in that area, because a lot of people think that it's quiet. It's the financial district, but things have changed. There's more residential down there, and let's kind of treat it as such.
So let me ask you, because we have our non-live entertainment license and we have been open for 3 weeks at the hours that I discussed. did you, over the last 3
I'm-
weeks, have any
Anthony,
issues with?
unfortunately, right now I'm in Florida. I'm coming
Oh.
back to Boston next week, but I'm speaking like pre-COVID, when actually that's the vault or the Vanderbilt's been closed for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think
No,
you may
since
have
18.
taken it over. In fact, last time I was in Boston, I gave my business card to one of your contractors and said, hey, can you please forward this to the people that bought it? So it'd be nice to get to know them so we can kind of be neighborly.
Okay.
But I'm just speaking from experience where the vault was there pre
Yep.
to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Goodfellas prior to the vault.
Yep.
And the vault were, they own a property, Bauer Liquors on Newbury Street. Not that it matters, but they do their best. But unfortunately, the buildings are such that where noise vibrates, the walls are right next to each other. There's no insulation, there's nothing.
But my question to you is, though, the levels that we've already been playing non-live music, have they affected any of the tenants in the building? Have you gotten a complaint yet?
Yana Realty can chime in on that one.
Just because those are the levels, whether we have a DJ or a band or whatnot, that we will be playing music at.
By all
So
means, I
if-
can ask our tenants.
Yeah.
I can
'cause
bring
we
it to
wanna
their
work with
attention.
you, of course, yeah.
And
We
I'm
wanna-
would
gonna
like
be
to
there next
chime
week
in
too
on
for a
this
week or
as well.
so, and I can
Yes, please.
identify it.
Wow.
Okay,
All right,
hi
thank you.
there.
One
Uh,
second.
That's okay.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to ask now if there's anyone else who would like to testify. Please identify yourself before you do so.
Hi there. Yana Kaplanese. I'm the co-owner of 114, 115, 17 Water Street. I also live in Florida, and I was visiting last weekend, the building and so forth, and occupying the second floor. It is very loud. A fellow restaurateur and real estate developer and involvement, I do appreciate and thank Anthony for trying to increase his business. I know it's been very difficult during COVID years to operate on those streets. Unfortunately, as a landlord, owner, and tenant and occupant, it's very loud. Also, there's no controls. I mean, we've seen people trying to bust in through our front door, sitting on our steps, defecation, urination, bottles being broken. Our tenants have complained. We've owned this building
In the
about
last
25 years.
Okay, excuse me, in the last 3 weeks you've had complaints? This is a different operator. I'm asking
Correct, different operator, but there's
I'm
no
asking about the
controls.
last 3 weeks. Have you
There
had
was
any-
loud noise and music and people hanging out in front of our buildings and urinating.
In the last 3
And
weeks?
yes.
Okay,
Last
and so
weekend I was
someone
there.
tried to crash through your door in the last 3 weeks? I'm just trying to wrap my head around if we're talking
Sure.
about the same
They
restaurant.
were trying to open up through the doors, yes. But they
Okay.
didn't
Definitely
actually
weren't
physically
coming to
break
our
it this
place.
time.
Anthony, what do you, for complaints, would you be open to giving the tenants and the abutters manager on duty's cell phone numbers, so they would have someone to call directly?
Absolutely,
I mean,
100%.
this isn't the first place in the city of Boston where there's luxury apartments above a restaurant and bar, and that's sometimes a very, that's something that
We-
other places do.
We haven't been that busy the last 3 weeks. I'm finding it hard to believe that people leaving our place. We were closed at midnight all week last week for the most part. Because as business, we're slow. We're building up. We're building our lunch. Our after work crowd is where we're the busiest. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around people coming out
Anthony,
of our
11
place and
o'clock
restaurant,
at night, when people are exiting your restaurants and sitting right in front of our stores, we also have a storefront, another restaurant that is closed right next door to you.
Yeah.
And they're congregating right there into our doorway.
Yep. Could they be
And there
coming
was a-
from another bar in the area and walk into another neighborhood?
So,
Could.
Anthony, do you have door staff
Yes.
every night until midnight? You have someone
Till
at the
12,
door,
yes,
so
absolutely.
so when people are leaving, I'm assuming you are asking your
Yeah.
patrons to
Please move along,
disperse.
please move along. Yep, absolutely.
And if they saw someone sitting on a private,
Yeah, or
yeah.
urinating on a private building, like, yes, we would 100% address that.
okay.
So,
I
yeah,
think it makes total sense to share a 24-hour contact because you do have tenants there.
sure. That's 100%. Me, no problem at all. and my general manager, because he tends to work nights, I tend to work days. Just that's how we offset, and we're not working 85 hours a week, we're only working like 60. But yeah, I have no problem giving his cell phone and my cell phone to our neighbors. And by all means, share that along and call us if the level is loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael.
As I mentioned, I'm coming up next week and it would be nice to meet you in person and, you know, have a dialogue going. One thing I was thinking, would it make sense to have cameras put in the front somehow so we kind of see what activity is going up? And if, especially, you know, I'm just speaking from experience that we've seen a lot of fights in the front. And I'm not saying that, I'm not suggesting that your business is going to, you know, attract that kind of crowd. But I can assure you the Vanderbilt and Vault, when they would keep it open late at night, there was always problems. You know, people getting out drunk, starting fights. I just remember one night, it was probably 3-4 years ago, 2 people started fighting. Next thing you know, the whole street was full of people fighting. I called the cops and the cop said to me, why don't you go down and see if anybody has a gun or a knife?
Sure.
And I can assure you, I'm not going to go downstairs, get stabbed, but the idea was.
I appreciate the back and forth, but this is a public hearing. If you
Yeah,
guys
I apologize.
continue meeting, you can meet next week when you come home from
Totally,
Florida.
totally.
I have
That
other
sounds
hearings today
fantastic,
too. So I'm
That
going to
sounds
take
fantastic.
back control of my public hearing, okay?
I
I don't have
apologize.
any other questions. Danny, on to you.
Thank you. Any additional individuals who would like to testify who we have not heard, and we need to keep it confined to this specific matter and this applicant in front of us.
Sorry, I'm just gonna add a few more questions, just hearing
Yeah,
wise.
it sounds like you already had a chance to speak. If you would like to submit something in writing or to meet with Anthony DePinto next week, feel free to, okay? Go
Sure,
ahead,
no
Laura.
problem.
Anthony, do you have your notification to abutters and the affidavit notice?
I picked up the packet this morning. I can walk it over
And then-
to you. Yes.
Okay, and the newspaper tear sheet, I just need those for the hearing.
I picked it up from the lawyer's office this morning, so I'll walk
Okay.
it over to you.
Okay, perfect. And when you submit the security and operation plan to Kathleen, if you can just include a dispersal plan and how you will deal with lines, you know, when and if it does get busy. And then any plan you have to mitigate the noise emanation.
Yeah, just to give you an example, just to sum up real quick, we want to be like a Bostonia. You know, that's the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. I know the old Vanderbilt and the old Vault, and we are the furthest thing from that. We want to be more of a Bostonia, good food, older crowd, no troubles. But, you know, obviously there's liquor involved, so you need to be secure and you need to protect yourself and your patrons.
All right, we're going to
So
see if there's
security
anyone
plan
else
and a disbursement plan, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
and any noise mitigation that you plan on taking
Great.
on.
Yep. And then Michael and Yana, if you want to shoot an email to licensing board at boston.gov with any concerns that you have as well.
Will do. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Becca, Executive Director Joyce, any further questions from either of you?
No.
Okay. And are there any individuals who have not yet testified who would like to provide additional testimony on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you
everybody.
guys very much. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.